Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and I think we've got a lot to talk about today, Jeff. I mean, starting, Monday, this has been nuts for 2 days of all these signings and trades. It actually, I mean, like we were saying before the show, it almost feels more this year. I don't know if it is, if it's just recency bias, but I don't feel like it has been this crazy, at least fantasy-wise. I mean, there's been actually a lot of defensive moves too, but I only care about fantasy aspects of it. But there's been a lot of movement, a lot of things that have probably affected our rankings in just a short 2 days, I would say. Let's just start. I mean, obviously, okay, I don't even know what the biggest move is. What do you think it is? Is the biggest move Odell or Le'Veon Bell?
That's a tough one. I knew Bell was going to go somewhere, so that isn't as surprising. But the Odell Beckham one caught me completely off guard. And we were texting back and forth, but are the Browns not the most interesting team now by far? Like last year, they definitely made a huge jump forward. And we're, if Mayfield's the real deal, they're going to be, a contender in years to come. I did not expect that the very next year, when you look at their roster, they are a couple defensive players away maybe from being a legit contender if Mayfield is the real deal. I mean, their offense is stacked full of talent.
Well, and they've made some good moves to get that defensive line really good too. I don't know about the rest of it. I don't know about their line. I don't know too much about the rest of their defense, but their line's great.
Oh, 100%. So it is going to be a whole lot of fun to watch them. And with Landry on one side, Beckham on the other, you have Njoku, who is kind of an up-and-coming talent who's uber athletic. A run game which should be able just to pound the ball with Hunt and Chubb now. I mean, give me a break. And that's not to mention, their other wide receivers who still could blossom. I'm excited to watch them. But I think for me, that was the biggest trade, and then followed by Bell. But mostly because of everything that Bell does for that entire team. Just first of all, what do you think? We'll go Beckham first and then Bell. What do you think that the outlook for Beckham is this year?
Okay, there's a lot of people. There's some, I've seen not a lot. There's some people that are saying, okay, they like to move overall for the Browns, but I've seen some talk that this could hurt Odell's value a little bit, but I think absolutely not. They think it could hurt his value because Jarvis Landry's going to take away from him. Jarvis Landry's not going to take away from Odell Beckham. He's just not. If anything, he's going to help him. Having another talented receiver like that lined up beside him, they can't just completely key on Odell. There's too much. There's too much in this offense. You try to double team Odell the whole time, they won't throw to him maybe. They'll just do everything else and just run the ball down your throat, or they'll throw to Jarvis or Njoku the whole time, or even Antonio Callaway, who I like him as a number 3 receiver. He's a really good number 3 receiver now on an offense, maybe not fantasy-wise, but just for the team. I don't see how this doesn't open everything up for Odell.
And that's what I keep thinking. I truly don't know. The question will be, do you take, and it kind of is almost the same every single year with Beckham, that is. And it used to be because of injury concerns, perhaps. But do you take the upside with Beckham, or do you go for a very safe player, such as, say, the Saints number 1? Do you go that route? I mean, that's going to be the question, because I don't think he's number 1, right? I think that you have to say DeAndre Hopkins, and I guess another question is where does he rank compared to Antonio Brown now? So I think risk reward is the name of the game with wide receivers this year, and Beckham, Antonio Brown, because they went to new teams, I think that they might fall a few spots, right? But I think both of them are in probably anywhere from number. Oh man, that's a tough one. I could really go many different routes, but you have to believe that neither of them drop below 6.
No, I mean, okay, if anything, so Hopkins is probably the surefire number 1.
Right. And once again, I think that's because he's just plug and play. We know exactly what we're going to get out of him.
Then I guess you could go there's other, like Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, you could put, any one of those guys you could put 2-3 and feel really safe. And then there's always Michael Thomas. So
Right, and Michael
Yeah, so-
Thomas is going to be the interesting one, and I think that he is just incredibly safe to have. Do you because you're going to have to draft these guys high, so would you rather take the guaranteed money on the table, if you will, or would you rather go for the Beckham with, you know, Mayfield throwing to him?
I want a fantasy team of Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham.
I know, right? I love the idea. I really do think that him going there, they're going to use him correctly. Antonio Brown, I actually fear that isn't going to work out to his benefit.
That one I'm a little more worried about.
Yeah, but
Odell passes Antonio Brown for me in rankings now.
And I don't have any issue with that. I have a lot more worries about Antonio Brown looking at who's throwing to him. Obviously, Carr never really got going the way we thought he was going to after his rookie year. He never really, you know, Amari Cooper, whether or not that is completely, I know he's a different type of player, but at the same time, he had a very hard time in that offense. They kind of struggled last year. I shouldn't say kind of, they struggled really badly. So, I mean, do you just throw it up to him every single time? I mean, what is I don't know the game plan they have. I know what Cleveland's going to do, and they're going to give Beckham a ton of opportunity to go up and get it, and then they're going to still be able to pound the ball, and they're going to be able to never double him, which is, I think they're just going to absolutely key on him when they play Oakland.
Yeah, because who else? I mean, they just signed Tyrell Williams as well, so he's the number 2, which he's fine, but there's not. I mean, Jared Cook is probably going to leave. It looks like he's going to be going elsewhere. I mean, what do you what are you doing there? You know, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher. Odell's in a great spot. So much. He's definitely moved. I mean, shoot, Odell's he might just be my number 2. I might actually move him up to number 2.
Yeah, I'm going to have to really think about that one. That's going to be tough because you also have Devontae Adams, right? Who you have to think that touchdown production, you have Aaron Rodgers. It's hard to – that's one of those, again, I like Odell as a player better, but I think Devontae Adams is safer. I don't think that there's going to be a huge fall off for that. So I don't know. That's a very tough one. I think that Beckham right now would probably be number 4 for me.
I think this for Baker Mayfield. I put him at 10th in my initial quarterback ranks, so, you know, very, very early ranks. And now I think that might be too low.
Yeah, I think he is going to get the hugest bump from this Beckham that no longer are you going to be able to get Mayfield at value.
Oh, no, none of that.
And that's what kind of kills me a little bit about it. But, I mean, it's whatever. QBs are pretty easy to come by. Someone's going to overpay for him, definitely. He's going to be kind of the favorite now.
Well, I'm looking at my ranks right now, and I had him at 10 behind Roethlisberger at 9 and Cam Newton at 8. So, for me, he jumps both of those already. I can see Baker Mayfield be my 8th quarterback then.
Yeah, and you had Ben and Newton. You said that jump.
Yeah, they were 2 spots ahead of him, so he passes both of them to me.
Oh yeah, I have no issue with that. Cam will be. He's always an interesting one because you bury him with the run. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I don't know if I can put Baker ahead of like Drew Brees or Russell Wilson yet, but
right.
I'd put him 8 right now. I really would. It's just that offense can be that good. It's going to open up for Njoku too.
Right, and I mean, the problem with this is because there's so much talent there now, you can make an argument of why that is going to help every single player on that offense. The question will be who actually benefits. And even that backfield now, I have no idea which running back I would want.
Oh, I know. Who knows?
It kind of throws a monkey wrench in the whole thing.
Is Duke Johnson still going to be there?
Yeah, no idea.
If he's still there, there's another guy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they are just stacked. And no, I have to jump and ask this question because we talked about Antonio Brown. We both think that he hurt his value leaving Pittsburgh. But where does Juju land for you now? Now that he was doing real well last year, he has been the same. He is in the same position he was last year, but he's number 1 now. So
I had him 9th originally. I had him 1 spot behind Mike Evans, 1 spot behind, or 2 spots behind Tyreek Hill. I think I'd put him ahead of both of them.
Does he go above Antonio Brown?
You think that's the one where, because I'd right now probably put Antonio Brown 6. So it's like Antonio Brown 6, Smith-Schuster 7. So what do you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those 2 spots for me.
Once I tell you, the wide receivers, and maybe, I don't know, and this might just be everything is getting tossed up, but I feel like wide receivers and running backs, there is a top tier that just expanded this year because of all these moves. It is so spread around. And we could even talk about, the running backs too, of Mark Ingram moving, Tevin Coleman, AP getting signed again, whatever, however that means. Le'Veon Bell actually moving out the way, so we know Connor is going to be the primary back more than likely. It really does spread the wealth incredibly around the league. The other guy, I do have to ask where you have him, because Tyreek Hill had a huge year last year, and with all of these trades, is he going to be the forgotten man?
It could be. He's going to drop down towards the end of the top 10, but he still has so much. That's not a bad spot. As much as he's so up and down, I don't want to put him in the top 5 and up there. When he drops to this spot, if he's down to like 8, I'm pretty comfortable with that. As to get in there, I think that's great value then. So I think his value is going to be really, really good. Actually, I don't see how it's not.
Yeah, and it makes me feel better and better. Before people were talking about how he should be a top 3 pick, right? And I think he's too risky to take that high, even though you might get that value right overall. But there's so many guys up here that would give you just a very solid performance game out, that it's very difficult to go ahead and pick a Tyreek Hill guy, which is going to be just mountains or valleys, all year. And he'll win you some, and then, he'll just won't show up and you're going to lose because of that too. So I agree with you. I think when you get him at the bottom of that, first 10 wide receivers, you have an incredible weapon that all of a sudden I think you can pair with other reliable hands down low, and you don't have to spend that top 3, pick.
If he does drop to that kind of level, and let's say you're in a 10-team league, there is the chance that he is available at the very end of the second, early in the third round in a draft, and that's perfect. If he's your number 1, but you got 2 like top 12 running backs already, you're in a really good spot then. So I think he's going to have pretty good value there. Let's see, what else do we got though going on? Anything else major other than those moves?
Well, I mean, I guess
those are the main ones.
I was going to say, well, Bell, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about Bell.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have to talk about him. So we kind of covered Odell and what that does in Antonio Brown, but Bell did move to the Jets.
I don't know what this means, actually. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
It once again, it makes the waters of running back a lot murkier. And, I'll say it again, but it makes for the top 12 to 15 look real good. Like, it is a much bigger kind of starting tier. I won't say tier 1, but 15 guys that I feel pretty confident about, 12 to 15 of them.
So originally I had Bell at 7 in my ranks. And you know what? I think I keep him right there.
I think that is about correct. I'm going to have to go over this in my head. This is tough.
I would have, because I'm still there. I've seen Gurley not in the top 10 in rankings now.
Top 10?
Yeah. I just saw one just yesterday. I think it was maybe top 8. It's from Brad Evans from Yahoo.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well, there's a reason I beat him in our league.
Yeah. That actually surprises me. And maybe that is more of a, you're trying to get a headline kind of thing. And you're like, stay away.
And there's different reasons why there's different ways people rank right now. There's some that are ranking as, I have no idea what he's going to do, so I'm not going to rank him up there.
Right. Or
there's me,
he
which
must
I'm
be
like,
injured, so getting closer to the year, he'll move up. I mean, if that's the case, I get it. But
I rank right now, like, as of now, there's so much time till the season, I'm not too worried. I'm going to rank him and he's healthy. That's how I usually do it.
Right.
And so there's just different ways people do it. So for me, Gurley's still up there. So I have like Barkley, Gurley, Zeke, McCaffrey, Kamara, Melvin Gordon, then Bell. And that's the only one I can see him passing is Gordon. That's about it for me. Those top 5 are set in stone. Saquon, Gurley,
I think you're
Zeke,
right.
Christian McCaffrey, and Kamara.
Yeah.
Bell could pass Gordon, but that's it. I don't even know if I want him to pass Gordon right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. When I really look at it, I think Gordon, with that touchdown production, he's the one that's vulnerable a little bit. And Le'Veon, if people going to the Jets, if people are that worried, I kind of feel like not only did they do the right thing by Darnold, who is supposed to be that their next big quarterback, I think Bell is actually a good fit for this team because you don't have to pound it out to him. You're going to have a young quarterback that can dump it off. You can use him a ton in order to really get him comfortable behind center. So I really like the move by the Jets. I feel like everyone goes there in order for their career to die, but I do think that Bell is going to be fine, but I still don't think he's going to have these epic numbers that he had in Pittsburgh. So I kind of agree with you as I'm going to take the guys that are locked and loaded. Do you see any difference because of jumping over a little bit? But with Beckham getting traded, do you think that hurts, or do you think that is just, Barkley? Do you think he's just going to be doing what he does no matter what?
I think he's going to be just the same. I don't think it's going to really affect him. He's going to be good. He's going to be great, no matter what. I think the biggest, there's two people that I think benefit quite a bit from this. Maybe not quite a bit. Sterling Shepard is going to be better if he's their number one. He's still not going to be great. I think he'll be pretty good though. But I think Evan Ingram, like we talked about when we did our tight end episode.
Yes, we did.
About how much better he is without Odell on the field.
Unbelievably more productive.
And I think that's going to translate next year.
I do too. He is definitely going to be one of those tight ends that if no one else catches on to this, which is a long time before the season, but he will end up on a lot of my teams because of it.
He will. That's the biggest. That's the one who's going to benefit the most. I really think out of that. It's Eli again though, and they still have to. Saquon's too good. That team's gonna have to be okay. I think as much crap as Eli gets, I think he's okay. He's not good, really. He's not. I don't even know. I don't know what I consider him right now. He's good enough to sustain a couple fantasy players.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be fine, and I think it's hard to say, but especially with Beckham, he might be the only player that Eli held back. Because you literally could get him open all the time. Saquon, you just hand off the ball, right? I mean, he kind of does his own thing, and I think Evan Ingram being a tight end will be fine because he's more of the short, medium routes, and then Sterling Shepard is, I think he's fine. I think he's a decent player, good player, but he's no Beckham. So I think, especially with a guy with more arm strength and kind of just a little more downfield precision. I think especially Eli lost a little bit of that getting a little bit older. So I think it's going to be huge for him going to Cleveland once again.
So let me try to see what other moves are going to matter here. I think one of the next big ones is probably, I like Mark Ingram to the Ravens.
I do too. I like it for him, and I like it for Alvin Kamara.
Right? Oh, yeah.
I think it helps.
So now
both of
the
them
Saints added Latavius Murray, but that's not going to be the same as what Ingram took away.
He's not Mark Ingram, but as a great pickup in order to make sure that they don't run Kamara into the ground, which I love because he's definitely the poor man's Mark Ingram, where you can. The only issue I have with that is I'm terrified that they're going to put the big back near the goal line, but they didn't do it last year, right?
No, they did not.
Even when Ingram came
back,
back,
for sure.
They used Kamara.
I got frustrated with that.
If that continues, and they use Kamara around the goal line, I freaking love it. And once again, I was huge on Kamara last year. There's no reason for me to be less gung-ho about it.
You already had him ranked higher than I did. I think you were going to rank him probably ahead of McCaffrey. And so he's definitely ahead of McCaffrey for you. So he's at least, 4?
Yeah, now he is, yeah. I was going to say, I think McCaffrey they were kind of going between each other. I was really deciding. And because McCaffrey finished so strong last year. But I think Kamara will be my number 4 pick.
Yeah, I think I don't know yet what I'm going to do with those, but yeah, he's even stronger now. And then, but Ingram really now that just adds another good option. He's one that's going to be. I don't know where people are going to rank him. I mean, with so much talent, I feel like he's a 15 to 20th ranked guy.
I did too, and we kept joking, right? Because the Ravens last year. Or, even going into the season, our whole thing was, if they don't get someone, who are you relying on? Who are you going with? But now this is a clear-cut done decision. This is going to be the Mark Ingram show, no doubt. And especially with the running quarterback, like we said, he is going to help any running back that is in there. And now you have a very talented Mark Ingram. I love it. I think that he is going to be a very sneaky
I'm telling
pick.
you, the running back with the running quarterback is so huge because I don't really think Gus Edwards was all that good. and he was
to
made look good.
He was just
though.
better than the
he
other
was made
guys.
to look good because he was playing alongside Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. Yeah. And anyone that gets that many reps will be productive in fantasy, and that was kind of the whole point of, well, you got to pick whoever the starter is up because he's going to be worth playing eventually.
This is
finally
my
someone
favorite
good.
option to this was always the Robert Griffin, Alfred Morris year. Alfred Morris was amazing with Robert Griffin there. And this is an upgraded version of that on both fronts here. Lamar Jackson and Ingram's better than Alfred Morris by a long shot.
Oh yeah, by a lot.
I mean, Mark Ingram, I hear a lot of crap about Mark Ingram. He doesn't seem to get any kind of respect at all. But so last year he only had 138 carries, but he had 4.7 yards per carry and got 6 touchdowns out of it. Year before, he ran for 1,100 yards off 4.9 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns, and caught 58 balls. And that's with Alvin Kamara taking how many catches he took. Those are good numbers.
Yeah, he does. I don't know why he does. And it's so funny, too, because I feel like in the past, the Saints have always, I don't know if they just leaked out of camp or what, but it always felt like they were trying to get rid of him. And I know they weren't, right? But they never wanted him to be the primary back. But I have no idea why that got started or why those were rumors, because he's built to be an NFL running back. He has all the athleticism in the world. He has been successful at every single stage, including in the NFL. So I have no idea why the doubt will always come in. But once again, everyone else's doubt is kind of where I'm going to pounce because I can get him undervalued.
I don't get it yet for the I don't really know why they wanted Latavius Murray over Mark Ingram. It shows me they really didn't care for him too much. They did not care for Ingram.
He did, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the money is.
It's a better deal. It's about, I think it's 3 years, $15 million for Ingram, and I think Murray got 4 years, not quite $15 million for 4 years. So, 4 years, 14.4.
Maybe they just didn't like Ingram. I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't that great in the locker room. I'm not sure.
Like any kind of NFL contract, those last year or so doesn't really matter anyway. They can be tossed aside as it is.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Ingram, didn't like the fact that he was playing second fiddle to Kamara, and he kind of wanted out. Who knows?
And
exactly.
I really like him as my second running back this year.
Oh man, yeah. I totally agree with you. That would be the prime place to get him.
Yeah, that's going to be really. I'm excited about that one. And I hope he kind of slips under the radar because it's not exciting. Ravens, it's just not. So.
No. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, no one's gonna be that excited about Mark Ingram. They're kind of like, he's he's whatever. Yeah, he's pretty decent. And then you think Ravens, and you're kind of like, oh, man, like they're not exciting. And people are still in the mindset of Flacco and all that. But you're thinking with Jackson, you're gonna be thinking he's running it or he's trying to learn how to pass the ball. They're not gonna try to control the ground game. I could see a lot of different places where people just use the information incorrectly.
Well, here's one I don't honestly have any clue at all what to think. Is Tevin Coleman goes to the 49ers.
Dude, that is the most... That's turned into... I don't even know who to... It's probably the most jumbled backfield I've seen in quite a few years. People that are supposed to be good, right? I mean, you have 3 different running backs that they went to last year in order to try to figure out who they could do. Not to mention you signed Tevin Coleman, and McKinnon should be back as well, who was supposed to be the prime running back. And we heard this reiterated after he was starting to get healthy again. He was going to be the main rusher when he got healthy the following year. Tevin Coleman is a good player. And I know he didn't show up as much as people wanted for him to like he did last year. But I have to believe that right now, I'm just looking at that backfield and saying I don't have any clue and I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, I right now, today, I want nothing to do with it. If Tevin Coleman is able to become the guy, maybe a little bit, but even then I don't feel comfortable with it because what have we ever seen from him? We've never seen him be the guy. So, honestly, he had a bit of a chance last year. He didn't really impress?
No, he didn't. He looked better when he was playing the change of pace back behind.
I mean,
Deontay Freeman.
maybe I should say he had 4.8 yards per carry, so that was fine. But they didn't ever. I mean, Freeman wasn't playing, and he still didn't get a workload. So it makes me think, like, can he not do that? He should have had so many more carries, 167 carries. He should have had a lot more than that.
Exactly. I guess being the primary back, I don't know how you don't go over 200. How many? What do you have his numbers right in front of you? What exactly were they? Do rushes and
so he
receptions?
Ran the ball 167 times for 800 yards and 4 touchdowns. So the yards per carry is pretty solid, 4.8, looked really good there. But he only had 32 catches.
That's the one that surprises me.
These numbers are okay.
in a game flow.
But think, like, these numbers
right,
are not better than they're not better. They're pretty much equal to Mark Ingram's numbers, and Mark Ingram missed 3-4 games and was in a complete timeshare where he was the second option. So it's weird. Yeah, I'm looking at here Coleman's game log. So early on in the year, games 2, 3, and 4, he had 16 carries, 15 carries, 14 carries. After that, he went 7, 10, 11, 13, 11, 8, 8, 6, 10, 11, 10, 8. And that's all with Freeman not there.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they were in shootouts a lot, and they definitely got it going in the passing game, throwing to Julio in the red zone. But that is such a worrisome stat line, and even more so because I really thought Tevin Coleman would be more of a pass catching running back, that type of threat. But I mean, are they kind of going to where Tevin Coleman is going to be the main rushing back, and then you have McKinnon come in as the kind of like receiving running back? Or are they completely splitting 50-50? It worries me because I really don't know what they're thinking. Like, it's not a very clear-cut decision.
This is a mess I don't want really any part of. And I don't want any part of it. I mean, this is when, Coleman would have to show me something, but he would show me it after I didn't draft him. That's how he very well could. But I'm not going to take that risk. There's no way I could take that risk with him.
Yeah, and who else do they have? And they still have. Do they still have Breda and Jeff Wilson? So, and they still have those guys, which Breda isn't going to go away completely, you would think. And Jeff Wilson was kind of like their little breakout, running back last year.
And who knows? He could go away.
He could very well, or they could try to trade him.
Breda's not going away. He can't go away. He looks pretty impressive at times, too.
Yeah, I mean, I
mean,
couldn't tell you.
Is it Jerick McKinnon? Are they not? Is Jerick McKinnon not the guy? I mean,
right?
Okay,
or is he not getting healthy?
Okay, here we go. I'm looking at Matt Breda's stats here. He had 153 carries, so he had less carries than Coleman for 814 yards. So slightly more yards. He had 5.3 yards per carry in 27 catches.
Oh my God, he had
it's Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Tevin Coleman. That's exactly what Tevin Coleman did.
And could you look up Jeff Wilson too, and what he did in the last few games?
Yeah, see what he did. So that's so on the year, Wilson ran 66 times for 266 yards and 4 touchdowns, 12 catches, and a lot of that was very late in the year. That was, let me pull up the game log here. Most of that was at the end of the year. So, okay, The thing is, though, I think a running back in this offense can be productive. It's just who? Like, I don't. If Jeff Wilson could have been somewhat productive, yeah, because he had a 15 for 61 with 15 carries for 61 yards, 8 catches for 73 yards in a game. Really solid. Then he had 23 carries for 90 yards in another game. And then that was pretty much, those were his main two. He had a 7 for 46, but I think Breda came back at that point. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that is a mess. So I'm not sure what they're doing there, if they just don't believe in the depth yet. Or McKinnon, that's the only thing I can think is that McKinnon isn't right yet.
That's very likely he's not. Maybe he won't be back. It's very possible. So, let's see if there's any other major moves here. I mean, there's a lot of now little minor stuff. Like we said, Adrian Peterson re-signed with the Redskins. So all that does to me is it means Geis isn't going to be the main guy. So this for fantasy just really hurts fantasy value. So,
yeah.
Or it could make an opportunity there, where you get Geis at a much cheaper value. If Peterson doesn't keep going, gets hurt, there you got a Geis at a cheap price.
yeah, pick your
good.
poison pretty much with one of those guys. I mean, obviously they're both kind of injury prone at this point.
Yeah. The Bills signed 2 wide receivers. They got John Brown and Cole Beasley.
Dude, oh my God. Dude, I feel so bad. Josh Allen is definitely not going to – he didn't get any help. And I don't hate either of those guys, but if they're those – yeah, that is scary. That team is going to be so freaking bad. Once again, I know that they kind of were interesting to watch coming down the stretch, mostly because Allen was running for his life.
His running ability, not his throwing.
Exactly. So once again, I'm completely off of anyone at Buffalo. Completely off of them. Yeah, I don't know any single person that would be worth having.
I might draft McCoy this year because you can get him for nothing.
I mean, that's true, but no, I'm not even that.
Not even then.
No, I don't want. I can't pick up a guy knowing that he's going to die on my team. He is going to just get creamed again this year. Like, man, take your money and just leave. The Bills have done nothing for you the past few years.
Deshaun Jackson's back with the Eagles.
That is hilarious. Oh, actually, that is a very big, a couple of maneuvers for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know you love this guy, but Godwin, he is coming up smelling like roses.
Godwin's a huge winner here because, like, okay, Adam Humphries went to the Titans, which Humphries got a 4-year, $36 million deal.
Dude, everyone got paid. I do not understand it.
But that means nothing to me for fantasy at all. Zero, absolutely nothing. I don't care about him going there at all. He might be a fine receiver, but whatever. It's Chris Godwin's the winner here, 100%. Chris Godwin and OJ Howard, both of them, really.
Oh yeah, and Godwin, the clear-cut number 2, finally. And we last year I know we gave Deshaun Jackson a lot of hate, if you will, but I would like to believe that we came out on top. Like we were correct for the most part. He did have some good games, but once again, you just can't count on him. He would never be on my team, and he was just taking up real estate that Godwin could really do a lot with.
And he was on my team. It was the worst. I don't know why I did it. I know better.
He was on the waiver wire. I know it, and you're kind of like, ah.
Yeah, it did. I picked him up on the waiver wire like after week 1. He had a good week, and then I didn't play him. Didn't play him after week 1 because it's Deshaun Jackson. You don't play him. And then week 2, he did great again. I'm like, oh jeez, I'm gonna miss out on this. And so I played him, and every time I played him, he did nothing. Every single time. You can't pick the right week with him.
Yeah.
And so it's just, you don't do it.
He's the type of player that I absolutely hate. That his stats will always put him up in the, as in will make him look like he is a contributor, but he is just a headache to have.
Yeah, completely. Just not a fan of having him on my team. And I learned my lesson. I don't know why I did it. I don't understand because I know better than that. It's terrible. But what about Adam Humphries? I mean, I blew that off, but you interested in that at all?
I can't say I am. I in a weird way, I don't have any feelings about the move. I don't even think that they got him to really use him in any major capacity. I just feel like he is a decent wide receiver that they're using to plug in need.
It's crazy how much more wide receivers get than running backs.
Go figure, man. I mean, I guess they're just saying that, wide receivers have longevity at least, and running backs are just getting run into the ground, or you can just plug and play whoever comes out of college. But I mean, what do you think that is? Because no one got paid but Bell.
That's it. I mean, you look at like Mark Ingram gets three years for $15 million, and a player like Adam Humphries gets 4 years for $36.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's not the same caliber of player.
No, not at all.
And it's just, I guess, wide receivers are more reliable now. They don't get hurt as often, and they do if you have a good receiver, that does make a big difference. The talent at wide receiver makes so much more difference. I guess running back, a lot of it, honestly, if you have a good offensive line, you can put a lot of people back there and be pretty decently decent.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's definitely some logic behind that.
Well, some other moves. Okay, we talked about Cole Beasley and John Brown going to the Bills. They also got Frank Gore. Forgot about that.
Frank Gore. I got nothing but love for Frank. He won't be on my team, but I love the fact that he's still going.
This, I think, means a lot more for Kenyon Drake, who maybe he does finally get the chance to be the guy next year. He didn't this past year because Gore just didn't go away. And Drake he had some flashes. He had 4.5 yards a carry last year, and he had 53 catches, but only had 120 carries. So he's had last 2 seasons he went 4.5 yards per carry, 4.8 yards per carry. So if they give him a full chance, maybe he can do it. It's a very interesting one, but I think you'll be able to get him for a very low price, which is nice. Don't have to take much of a chance. He'll be in the 20s ranked, so you can get him as your third. I think that's a pretty solid third running back. Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
How about okay?
Well, do you think that
Mike Davis signed with the Bears?
Mike. Cool. Before we move on from the Dolphins, though, last year one of the rookies kind of went under the radar because he didn't get any playing time, but Kalen Ballage.
Maybe that's big. Drake won't go up,
right? Well,
Ballage is going to take.
I don't know. I mean, obviously Drake is the better player, but that we know of. But he is a big running back that runs downhill. I mean, where I'm only really going off of college days. But you wonder if there's any thought that maybe they would use him as a goal line guy or in a spot where he could grind out a lot of yards. Maybe they will take, he'll take carries away from Drake, who doesn't seem like an every down guy to me still, but maybe I just, for some reason, can't get past, how much he broke out, a few games ago.
Yeah, that's Ballard. He's going to be. I think he's going to be a popular, deep sleeper type pick. I could see that happening. I don't know. I'm trying to think how they're going to use him. And if they used Gore like they did last year with Drake, I don't see. Are they really going to use Drake fully? I don't think so, are they?
I mean, pretty much every team needs 2 running backs now, so. It'll be interesting to see if they give him a go in his second season.
Oh, this one actually happened a bit ago. I thought I'd bring it up. It seems another 2 running back situation is the Chiefs signed Carlos Hyde. What is that?
I kind of love it.
Yeah, what's that mean for Damian Williams, though?
Well, it definitely hurts their value. It kind of makes it uncertain. I don't think that Carlos Hyde is. He did fine. He looked good, but I think Damian Williams will probably be the guy. But I think they're just getting depth at this point. And really for that team, especially with, I know we don't care about defense, but the fact that they got Tyrann Mathieu, I love that. I love the moves they're making because I feel like especially that kind of defensive player is perfect for what they do, which is they're going to score a lot, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on the other team to score. And what Mathieu can do is come up and make a ton of plays, and he can definitely make you pay for the mistakes you make. So I see him coming in and forcing turnovers and just being chaos in the backfield. That is just a great pick. And I think you just double down on Carlos Hyde being like, all right, we don't really have a starter that we know of. Everyone does well back here. So let's just make sure that we don't run out of guys. That's pretty much how I feel they're kind of taking it to.
Pretty much. Let's see here. Any other major name? Devin Funchess signed a 1-year deal with the Colts. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for kind of, poo-pooing on everyone else, I kind of actually am interested in that one because I don't feel like they have a solid number 2, clear-cut number 2, I should say.
They don't. So I think it's interesting. I don't know he's not going to be drafted.
No, and it shows how much how much trust they have in him. The fact that they only give him a 1-year deal, but he's not that far removed from being a pretty valuable piece of the Carolina offense. Was it only 2 years ago where he had that breakout season?
I think so. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and that's don't really know what to think about that one. But they gave him $10 million for a year. not a bad deal.
10 mil. Oh my god.
Let's see here. Yeah, right. It's kind of a lot of money, actually.
Yeah, I guess they just had money to spend. So
now we start really scraping the bottom here. Jamison Crowder signed with the Jets. Oh, that just sounds terrible.
Yeah, but I do. Okay, once again, I just have to say that the Browns are definitely like the big winner getting him. But I think the Jets, I think Crowder and pairing and Bell for just getting those two weapons for Darnold, and especially assuming that they hold on to their other two wide receivers and they're just using Crowder in the slot, which they should. I think it's a great move in order to help him progress as a quarterback because he's going to have very quick passes to get the ball out of his hand if he needs to. Just two outlets there, boom, boom. And then obviously you have the deep threat going down the field. So I do like it. I don't think it really plays into fantasy all that much, but I think it's a great move just football-wise. And maybe Darnold, I don't think he's anything special fantasy-wise, but I think that putting him in a position where maybe he could be a kind of a flyer guy.
Then Nick Foles signed with the Jaguars.
Okay. This is a good one. I really don't know how to feel about this one. Where are you landing?
I don't know. I mean, we've seen Foles be good for a playoff run and win a Super Bowl. And he really wasn't good last year. You got all that talk at the end where they were winning some games and, getting to the playoffs and stuff, but he really wasn't that good. He's just okay. He's above average. He's above average, but he's not special at all, and he's not a great fantasy option. So maybe it just helps Leonard Fournette because at least it gives just a decent option at quarterback. Somebody who's not makes the defense at least have to think about it. He can make the defense pay if they don't actually defend anybody. Blake Bortles couldn't.
Yeah, Blake Bortles. I really can't get behind this one. I'm with you. I mean, if you look at it, he had one kind of amazing year with Philadelphia, and then I think he got hurt, or you're trying to figure out playing time and all of that, but he never regained him when they traded him off to St. Louis, and he started the majority of the season. He looked just awful. I mean, really, really bad, and he's never come back from that. So yeah, he was great with Philly in a backup role, but I think when people game plan for him, he's not the same kind of guy.
Yeah, so if anything, he's good enough to make the defense respect him a bit, and it could help Leonard Fournette. That's about it, though, for me.
Yeah. Does it do anything for the wide receivers? Because like you said, he's definitely an upgrade from Bortles.
I mean, because who did they even throw into? D.D. Westbrook? I don't even remember who else is there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was a gaggle of wide receivers.
Right? I don't even know anymore. No, it doesn't really help any of them. I don't think. Not too much. I don't know. I like D.D., but maybe. Not enough for me to even really consider them or think about them in the draft at all.
Yeah, I mean, and because it was, him and Keelan Cole, right? Were the two, young guns that were kind of up and coming. Yeah, and who was, they had a young guy too. DJ Chark? Yeah. But, yeah, he didn't show anything last year as far as I remember. So, I think that they have some talent with the wide receivers, but I don't think that this helps either of them out that much.
No, not really. Then I don't really have any other moves here. Jesse James went to the Lions. I think that actually not really. I don't really consider Jesse James much of a fantasy option, but I think it actually helps Vance McDonald more than anything. Maybe over in Pittsburgh, because now, Antonio Brown's gone. There isn't Jesse James split in time. Maybe Vance McDonald's a decent tight end option.
Yeah, and I know we've said it, and it's a very good point. And I know we've said it before, though, but the other guy in that offense that is going to benefit is going to be James Washington.
Right? He's going to be interesting. And I haven't yet heard too much talk about him, so we'll just try to keep it under the radar a little bit. Just keep it to us. I think he's going to be pretty decent. He should be. And that's really the main moves right now. There's still some other guys out there, like Golden Tate's still out there. He could make some kind of impact on team. maybe he'll just go back to Philadelphia. Randall Cobb's out there. I think he's done.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad, but yeah, I don't think that he has too much left in the tank.
Jared Cook's still out there. It's going to completely depend on where he goes, and people are going to get too excited about him and rank him too high.
Every year.
No matter what. It's going to, no matter what. There's a reason these teams don't hang on to him. I mean, he's fine. He's inconsistent. So I'm not going to ever trust it. But so yeah, majority of the big moves have happened. Maybe might be some other stuff. I still don't know. There was all that talk early on about the Bears were trying to get in on one of the running backs, and they were looking to get rid of Jordan Howard, but none of that happened, and they only signed Mike Davis. So
yeah, well, they're fine. I think they're still set up for.
I think they'll keep. At this point, I think you got to keep Howard.
Yeah, you use him the way you used to, and then you just increase Cohen's touches a little more. I think they'll be fine.
It'll be interesting to go back and do my ranks again. I think I'm going to do that with at least wide receivers and try to see where I really think, how I'm going to move those around a bit here. And it's definitely going to be some movement. Beckham's to me, I don't know where to put him. People are going to put him down, but I want to put him up higher. I really do.
Yeah, I don't have any.
I've always been a big Beckham fan.
Yeah, I have too. I don't have any issue with him, and I don't think he's any more. I don't think he's any more of like a bust consideration than you would say about Tyreek Hill or AJ Green with injuries now. So, I mean, who else would go up there? I mean, really, like you start getting around that area, and you have to make some really tough decisions. And I guess the classic ones that you go, okay, maybe Juju because you know what you're getting, Antonio Brown because he's been better. Tyreek Hill, but Mike, I guess there's a 5 guys that you could make a case for, and it pretty much ends with Mike Evans. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I think his ceiling is just too high to pass up on.
I agree, but I think honestly, my biggest winner of this whole thing, I'll end it is, I think Baker Mayfield is going to be really, really, really good.
I do. I think he definitely is the one that benefited the most fantasy wise. Even
though I know as of right now I would have like Matt Ryan ranked ahead of him. I don't want Matt Ryan on my team over Baker Mayfield, I'm not going to lie. I think I would switch. I think I want Baker Mayfield. Man, he's going to make my top 5. I'm going crazy. No, I can't do that. That's too reactionary. I'm not going to rank it like that, but I'm going to love the draft. I know. Baker, he's going to be overdrafted, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you're gonna, if he's in your top 5, then probably not.
I'm being serious. Like right now, to make my top 5, he would have to pass Drew Brees, who is great, but fantasy-wise, he's not always amazing anymore. He would also have to pass Russell Wilson, who, again, he's a great quarterback, but he doesn't have the weapons Baker Mayfield has. And then for me, he would have to pass Matt Ryan, which Matt Ryan is just one he does well, but I get bored by him. That's not a good way to analyze things, but I do.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough sell. I think it's going to be risk versus reward, and I'll be honest, I have no issue with putting him ahead of Matt Ryan. And I don't know why, because Matt Ryan has been so up and down over his career. So I'm kind of like, what am I really risking? But it would be tough to break that top 5, that Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and definitely not the top 3, right? Rodgers, Luck, Mahomes, that kind of deal. But a lot of these quarterbacks in that, 6 through 10 spot, you can make an argument for nearly anyone.
You really can. And, man, I hope Baker doesn't get too far up there, but he's probably going to.
I do hope that the spotlight, it's not going to. I already know that Cleveland is going to be the darling, so it's not going to go away. He's definitely going to be drafted in the top 10 as far as quarterbacks go, which I was hoping he was going to be outside of that. If that does happen, though, who is the guy that is falling to the wayside that you would pick up for like next to nothing right now?
I'm going to browse through my ranks here and see what I think. Who's no one's even going to consider or even talk about. There's probably a guy or two. Where are my quarterback ranks? Man, I don't know. Let's see here. See, I don't. Roethlisberger's not going to be talked about, but I don't know how I feel about that anymore. You know, the weird thing is, like, Drew Brees really could fall in these drafts.
I think he will.
Then I'm going to love the value he's at. Then
I could see him falling to number, like 9, 10 even.
If he did that, that's great value. He's one, and there's going to be others. I don't know who's going to be the one to fall. I mean, okay, then turn around. Okay, if Matt Ryan ended up falling to that kind of level, which is very possible with Matt Ryan, people get bored of Matt Ryan. If he fell down to 9, 10, I think that's good value. It's really going to, honestly, whoever falls to that like 9, 10 quarterback spot is going to be a pretty good value. But I don't know. I still have been toying with the idea of getting a quarterback that actually costs a little bit more because I think they're so good. But if I can get Baker for less, that's the only one.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know what to do. It's so far away.
It's really strange, too, because there are some guys that really fell off hard last year. And, that you can pick them up for like nothing, like $1 at the end of the draft. And we're talking like Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott.
I'm never getting Kirk Cousins again.
But he talk about like we think Mayfield's going to be so good, but he has a ton of talent around him. And then Dak Prescott finally has a number 1 wide receiver again, hopefully, and then with Zeke and kind of the band getting back together, Witten.
We did our tight end episode one day before it released, I think the morning that Jason Witten came back.
Yeah, which cracks me up. I don't think it's a huge fantasy story, but I think it does help Dallas.
Yeah. And then, you know what? I was thinking, I think I might end up with Tom Brady on a lot of my teams.
Yeah, I mean, I might end up just going with a guy I don't have to pay for. Because I wouldn't
mind Tom Brady.
No, I mean, it's whatever. I wouldn't go after him, but if no one's going to pay for him, it's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, 42-year-old Tom Brady.
I'm kind of thinking the same thing about Dak. I mean, I feel like you definitely won't have to pay for him, and I can probably put him on my team as a second quarterback. And once again, he had a down year, but he had no one to throw to.
I think Amari Cooper might actually be he's
definitely he's going to be better there than he was in Oakland. Like I have no doubt about that.
All right. I think that's going to do it. I think this is probably our longest episode in years.
Probably. There's a lot to go over.
There is, really. And this is only day 2. There's a lot more to happen yet. There's more stuff that could go on. There could be more trades. And then, who knows? We've got the NFL draft right around the corner.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm already getting excited again.
And then after the draft, it's basically summer, and it's time to get ready for next year. It's almost there. It might as well be season already. So less than 6 months now.
Yeah, we'll be going down to Nashville to do our draft.
That's right. It'll be a good time. I have to turn around and win this one though. I've not won in a few years.
Yeah, well,
longest such streak.
It hurts. I keep getting Snapchats from our champion with him and the trophy, and it's really killing me.
I haven't seen that thing in a long time. You've never seen it.
This freaking league.
All right. We'll do it. Talk to you guys next week.